Hey guys, Foxdrop here. Hope you're having a marvelous evening. I'm having a pretty good evening because I've just seen there's a new champion being released and we get to see his abilities. And in today's video, guys, I want to show you what his abilities do, but more specifically, I want to answer the question: is Kayn, the Shadow Reaper, going to be an OP jungler? He's being advertised as a jungle carry, and will he actually be that? Well, the answer, preemptively, I think, is actually yeah. I think he's going to be pretty busted on his release. So let's get right into his abilities here, guys. If you don't know what Kayn the Shadow Reaper is like, take a look at this right here. You see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges on this newspaper shuriken. Still not as edgy as Kayn. So, abilities, passive here, guys. He has 2 forms, a light and dark form. It's rather funky. Essentially, from the wording of this, it makes me feel like when he's attacking melee champions or attacking ranged champions, not necessarily killing them, he gains the souls of those champions. Once he's gathered enough souls of ranged champions, which will give him blue souls, or melee champions, which will give him red souls, if he's gathered enough power, he can then kind of transform into some kind of like extra form of himself. And if he eats the blue souls, the ranged champion souls, he turns into that person you just saw there, where he's able to, where is he? Here he is. Where he's now blue, which essentially just means that he does bonus damage when he starts combat with someone, so more of like an assassin thing. And if he gets the red souls from melee champions, then he turns into the proper edgy thing, where he heals for some of the spell damage that he deals to people. So essentially, if you want to be an assassin or more of like a fighter, bruiser, kind of slightly tankier person, based on who you're fighting. Now, this won't influence much from the jungle perspective because it doesn't really change anything, clearing the jungle or anything like that. However, having said that, generally speaking, the role of your champion in the jungle is usually better off when you are tanky or a bruiser. So I would say that right off the bat, the red souls have an advantage here, becoming the Darkin rather than the Shadow Assassin. But we'll see there are some more interactions depending on which route you go down as we go into the rest of his abilities. So his Q, the Reaping Slash, this is basically like a Yasuo EQ combo. Now this is going to be really nice for clearing the jungle here. This ability in itself is ridiculously strong for clearing the jungle, especially when you consider into the fact that a lot of the very valuable jungle camps in the current meta, in the current state of the jungle, are like the chicken camp, for example, and things like Krugs if you can take them efficiently. So having an AoE ability is really nice for that shit. And depending on the cooldown of this ability, it can be even nicer as well for if you're ganking someone to chase them down, because you do get a little bit of movement out of it as well, and also just to clear really, really quickly. This has like a 10-second cooldown. Obviously, it's not going to be that good for clearing the jungle, but if it's got like a 3-second cooldown, bloody hell, that's going to be pretty strong. His W, Blaze Reach, is going to be a really nice ganking tool here. It's essentially his main form of initiation or crowd control. You throw it down there and you slow someone. Pretty simple. Now, if you turn into a Shadow Assassin, you cast it from like a shadow you leave behind. If you turn into the Darkin, you knock the target up. So I would say that's more leaning towards you want to become the Darkin again, the red character there. So that's 2 arguments for becoming the Darkin. But generally speaking, it doesn't really matter who you are. This is still going to be a pretty useful ability. Even if you haven't evolved into anyone yet, it's just like a bread and butter slow. You can't really go wrong with that stuff, right? And it goes through minions as well, which I think is something that's really important to note. Because if it gets blocked by minions, it can be a little bit hard, unreliable. If it goes through minions, easy peasy lemon squeezy. E Shadow Step. Ridiculous. This is busted bonkers, absolutely crazy. I don't know what to say about this. You just walk through walls. You basically just walk through walls. Not much else to say about it. This is pretty strong. If you're a jungler, imagine ganking from like the imagine if you were in Summoner's Rift here and you kind of walked down here a little bit, like down off here, and then you've got that like kind of where the blast cone is, and if you just walk through that wall into lane, you can get in behind people so easily. Like, holy crap, like that's just so crazy. The only other person who can gank like this really is like Zac as a jungler, right? And Zac is known as one of the best gankers in the game for that exact reason. So holy crap, that is so good to set plays up, considering you're mostly a melee champion as well. Melee champions struggle from having no real gap closer, got to get close to people. So having that ability to get close to someone in a gank is bonkers. Absolutely out of it. Completely crazy. Now, this is his ultimate called Umbral Trespass. Essentially, you kind of like semi-possess someone, though you don't control what you do. You just kind of like hide in them, like you're seeing here. And then when you pop out of them, you do damage to them. So really, it's just like a gap closer. Really, you just chase someone down, and then you do damage to them when you come out of it as well. Really, really nice ganking tool, because you're not going to be able to get away from that. Literally, if you're in range to press R, you've got them. They can't run away from you in that situation. They have to hold on to their gap closer, which is really, really good if you've got teammates around, because it gives them time to catch up initially. And then you just do a crazy amount of damage to them, really. So it's all like, not much to say about it. It's just all really good for ganking here as well, for your 1v1 fighting too. I can't imagine there being many junglers in the game who can go toe-to-toe with him, depending on the cooldown of his Q. However, having said that, I would say that there are probably, you know, the best. He probably won't actually compete with many of the top-tier duelists here pre-6. I think people like Kha'Zix at least would probably still be able to beat him before level 6, but looks really bloody strong, honestly. In my personal, humble opinion, and I could be completely wrong here. I've been wrong in the past, but I've also been right in the past as well. But I don't think that this guy is going to struggle as a jungler. I think he's going to be really bloody strong. So yeah, I'm going to try and get a gameplay video of him in the jungle whenever he comes out on the PvE. But this is just a little kind of like showing you how he works first and foremost. But thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to me if you want to see more Legends content. Cheeky thumbs up as well if you liked it too. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next